I'd like to give you some background on myself. I know you guys know me, but I've been an engineer for 30 years. I was a consultant for 20 years before becoming the general manager of utilities for Jasper. As a consultant, I worked for numerous industrial clients like Eli Lilly, Delphi, Electronics in Kokomo. Also worked for hospitals, Riley Hospital, Community Hospital, in the little project here in Jasper. Also worked for IU, Purdue, doing projects on their campuses, and many other clients. My job was to put together a team of experts to do engineering projects. I'd pick them from either my team that was in-house in my firm, or I'd pick outside consultants who, if I included in my firm. And that's why we use consultants all the time in the utility office. We use consultants for rate studies. We use consultants for large projects like the Beaver Dam project. We hired the best dam contractors we could find to do that for us. And for the power plant project, we have also consulted with engineering firms, environmental firms, college professors at Purdue, college professors at IU, at University of Illinois, United States Environmental Protection Agency, Indiana Department of Environmental Management, U.S. Department of Agriculture, Du Bois County Department of Health, and we've talked to some healthcare providers and other experts in their fields. And based on that information that I received, and I'd like to kind of respond to some of the information that was talked about tonight. First thing is the emissions from the power plant. I think there's a lot of confusion over what type of power plant we have. I mean, they mentioned Crawford County's power plant and how it operates. This is different. That was a fluidized bed boiler. I won't get into all the details, but this is a stoker boiler. What we do in a stoker boiler is we take very dry fuel and we burn it at a very high temperature and combust as much as we can of that material, because the more we combust, the more energy we produce, and that's our goal, is to maximize the efficiency. In the case of Miscanthus, the combustion process is critical as part of the emission process. Because if we burn at such a high temperature, 2,000 degrees, and some studies in France have shown the characteristics of Miscanthus graft, at 400 or 500 degrees it puts out a lot of particulates. But if you get up to 2,000 degrees, those particulates, also nanoparticles, aerosols, they all combust when you get up to 2,000 degrees and they turn into ash. That eliminates a lot of those concerns about nanoparticles and aerosols. Besides that, after everything's contained in the boiler, anything else that happens to leak through, like ash and things, some kind of larger pieces, there's a cyclone, a multi-clone filter or a separator. It's kind of like a cyclone separator you use for dust collection. There's many of those up there, and the ash will drop out too once it gets suspended in that air. And then there's also, we have an electrostatic precipitator. It's like a big electronic air filter that ionizes particles, collects them, and then they drop out, and it can be collected in the ash and taken away. The new proposal, instead of using an electrostatic precipitator, they plan to use a bag house, which is it's like a bunch of big long socks, big wall full of them, 80 by 80 feet, that will collect those particles also. The comment that biomass is dirtier than coal. Oh, let's talk about dioxins. Nobody mentioned it much, but also in order to create dioxins, the temperature, you need a high temperature, and you also need carbon, and you need chlorine. And in the case of the power plant, the gases that will be coming up that could form the dioxin has to be around 400 degrees in order to form dioxins outside the power plant through the stack. The emission or the temperatures in the power plant on the where it comes through the economizer and through the electrostatic precipitator, are only in the 350 degree range. So we're below those temperatures where dioxins are formed, so that we don't have the big concern about dioxins that have been expressed by a number of people here. I'm not sure what kind of power plants you guys are looking at, or maybe you're just looking at combustion of biomass, not looking at emission controls and other things. So that's what I know about that. Oh, the dirtier than coal comment. That comment has come through a Massachusetts study that what they did was they considered carbon dioxide as a pollutant. And the reason they considered it as a pollutant is because they looked at cutting down a tree, a live tree, which doesn't happen in most biomass plants. They use forest debris or other types of wood waste. But they considered, in this study, they considered cutting a live tree, burning it, and then how long would it take for that carbon to get absorbed by another 40-year-old tree. So they were looking at these long time frames for this carbon absorption. And that's why they considered carbon dioxide as a pollutant. So if you look at that, of course, it's going to look dirtier than coal, because biomass puts out more carbon dioxide than coal does. So our power plant, our proposal that we're looking at is a sustainable, renewable crop. Crop grows in a couple years, it absorbs carbon, it's burned, it releases the carbon dioxide through photosynthesis. It needs that carbon dioxide. Next year, it absorbs it again. It's a closed loop system. So it's carbon neutral. So let's see, we talk about health concerns. We have talked to doctors. And I mentioned we did talk to Dr. Sammons, and he sent us a ton of information. I don't know how many emails. This bulk of the information, and I forwarded it to all the Utility Service Board members and all the city councilmen. I did go through all that information, and a lot of it has to do with particulates and the harmful effects of particulates. I mean, he's got a study in there about California school, high school that's next to a highway, and how the particulates at that school cause students to have higher asthma rates, the ones that played inside compared to the ones that played outside. You know, that's particulates, you know, but it's not a biomass plant in Jasper, Indiana. He also mentioned that American Heart Association sent a big thing, it's a lot of pages. I started going through there, and it talked about all the different things that could cause particulates, that could cause health concerns, and never listed biomass. But I did a search and found biomass listed about 5 times, and in each case it talked about underdeveloped nations using biomass to cook inside their houses. So, you know, if you want to look at biomass being bad, you know, that's a situation where it probably is a health concern. But our power plant is not like burning, open burning inside your house. So we did use Dr. Salmon's information, and we did review it all, and we took it for what it was worth. And we did talk to local doctors, and they obviously are very concerned about the public's health. They are, Chris?
Who did you speak to? Who did you speak with? What area doctors did you speak with?
That was a local pediatrician.
Would you provide a name, please? So we can
I don't know if she'd want me to.
Chris, if you provide one in your pamphlet here.
It might be the same pediatrician. We could
Could
find
be.
that out.
Well, I'd rather not, because I haven't told her.
Will this power plant produce air pollution? Will it be permitted for air pollution?
Yes, it will be permitted for air pollution.
What will be the health concerns for the air pollution that will be permitted for that it will produce?
Very minor. It'll be a lot less than what we are now, because we're not burning coal. We're not putting out mercury. We're not putting out sulfur.
Would you go back to mercury, sulfur, and heavy metals if this doesn't go through?
Yes.